Superman 2025 is confirmed to make less than Man of Steel, and the Fantastic Four is Marvel's weakest summer movie in years. I can't believe that DC fans actually thought that Superman was going to make $1 billion, and now they're saying it never needed to make $1 billion.
You are coping and seething.
I also can't believe that someone actually thought that the Fantastic Four was going to make over $150 million domestically in its opening weekend. Who would be silly enough to believe that? Maybe even $150 million if the word of mouth is really good. You can get off your knees and get my out of your throats now. You're probably going to find it hard to believe that two of the biggest superhero movies of the year are flopping. But here we find ourselves, trapped in a video. Help! The fact that these two movies are the highest grossing superhero movies of the year is really concerning. It's been a terrible year for superhero movies in general. And I'm not talking about Superman or the Fantastic Four just underwhelming a bit. I'm talking about massive marketing campaigns, record-breaking trailer numbers, and every nerd on the face of the earth saying that it's the greatest thing since sliced bread.
This is the greatest thing I have ever seen in my life!
All that just to be box office bombs, especially internationally. So what excuses are comic nerds coming up with? Heat waves, comic book fatigue, America fatigue, an unspecified virus of unknown origins. Are any of these valid excuses, or are they just coping?
You just can't accept what you're seeing.
And I think the most important question of all is why are there wildly different narratives about these two movies? Pretty much everyone agrees that Fantastic Four is a disappointment, but there has been a ridiculous amount of PR for Superman. I've never seen so much focus given to domestic numbers in my life before. Meet Domestic Man! We're also getting different claims about Superman's performance. Some were calling 500 million a success. Others are saying that the movie is going to lose the studio a lot of money. So what the hell is going on? Smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Let's break down why Superman and the Fantastic Four are box office flops. Like I said, there are two different claims about this movie's box office performance. Some claim that it's already profitable right now. Others, like myself and other outlets, are saying that it's a flop. So which is it? Let's start with the claim that it's profitable. The people making this claim are using the 2.5x rule. What does that mean, you ask? Basically, you take the production budget of a movie and multiply it by 2.5. And that number is your break-even point. So the break-even point for Superman will be 562 million. And as of this recording, the movie is at 579 million. So it's made 17 million in profit, right? This is the problem with the 2.5x rule. It's a quick method, but it's oversimplified. This is supposed to be used for rough estimates. It's easy for fans and journalists to use without looking into the detail. This rule assumes that the marketing budget is around 50% of the production budget. So in this case, it will be 125 million. But that's the problem. Superman 2025 has a marketing budget of $200 million. So you can just throw the 2.5x method down the toilet. So what is the other method that myself and other people who are claiming this movie is a flop are using? It's called a revenue split. It's way more accurate than using rough estimates. Theaters take 50% of the box office revenue on average. So if you want to find the break-even point for Superman, you take its production budget and multiply it by 2. Then you add the marketing budget. This makes the break-even point for this movie $650 million. Superman is tracking to make around $620 million globally. That means this movie will lose the studio at least $30 million. This is precisely why almost every media outlet is twerking for Warner Brothers at the moment. This is why the focus has been on the domestic numbers. I find it funny because some of the same outlets said that Superman needed to make $700 million to be profitable, and that is before the movie released. All of a sudden, 500 and something million is a success. So the real question is, how does this compare to Man of Steel?
Well, we're waiting.
Man of Steel had the same production budget as Superman 2025, and it had a marketing budget of 150 million. So if you apply the 2.5x method on Man of Steel, the way these Superman meat writers love to do, it would mean Man of Steel made at least 108 million compared to Superman's 17 million so far. But if we use the revenue split on Man of Steel, then it made 70 million in profit compared to the 30 million loss that Superman will make. This movie is going to make less than 100 million in profit than Man of Steel. Side note, Man of Steel made 160 million in promotional deals before the movie even released in theaters. So Man of Steel actually made 230 million in profit in theaters alone. However you choose to look at it, Warner Brothers have lost between 100 and 200 million dollars in earning potential. There's no two ways about it. Superman 2025 needed to make more than Man of Steel to be profitable, but it's going to end up making less. This is a disaster. How will James Gunn justify this to the investors? You can see that David Zaslav and WB aren't happy with this performance. The movie is already going to be released on digital in 2 days. But one thing that must be said is that DC aren't the only ones struggling right now. Fantastic Four is a bit more straightforward. Everyone agrees that this movie is a disappointment, especially me. I had high hopes for this movie. The movie was tracking to make between 130 and 140 million in its domestic opening weekend. This is why I thought this movie would do well. The Thursday previews for this movie were better than Superman, and even some box office trackers said that this movie could make as high as 145 million. Everything indicated that this movie would perform better than Superman, but for some reason, this movie just died. I don't know how else to put it.
So high right now. I have no idea what's going on.
It ended up underperforming the box office projections by a lot. But that isn't the end of the world. The movie had great word of mouth, both from critics and audiences. Surely it will have good legs. Oh dear. The movie had a 66% drop-off in its second weekend, and another 60% drop-off in its third weekend. How could a movie that had a better reception than Superman, and was projected to make more than Superman, fall off a cliff like this? I've heard all sorts of excuses for these disappointing performances. Heat waves, comic book fatigue, America fatigue, and the aforementioned virus of unknown origins. Most of these are genuinely brain-dead excuses. Heat waves in the UK didn't stop Jurassic World Rebirth from performing better than Superman. The post-virus excuse didn't stop Minecraft or Jurassic World or Lilo and Stitch from making money. The same goes with America fatigue. None of these movies were affected. It's just Superman and the Fantastic Four.
Right.
You guys are just coping. The only real discussion here is comic book fatigue. Let's use China as a case study. Every comic book movie that came out this year either underperformed or was a box office bomb in China. They've clearly had enough of superhero movies in China, and this trend exists in other countries as well. It doesn't matter how much you market these movies. It doesn't matter if the word of mouth is good. The last 3 comic book movies have positive ratings from critics and audiences, and they've all bombed overseas. It seems like Batman, Spider-Man, and the Avengers are the only guaranteed box office hits. We will know for certain in June next year. Supergirl is the next comic book movie to be released. If that movie flops, then it confirms that we are in the twilight of the superhero movie era. Let me know what you think down below. Why do you think Superman and the Fantastic Four flopped? Is Supergirl gonna flop next year? And is the era of the superhero movie finally over? Let me know down in the comments. I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have subscribed and show support for the videos. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.